Let's bring you up to speed for the 2025 F1 Singapore Grand Prix by wrapping up the hot stories from the F1 World Number 1 pit lane speed limit, brought up to 80 km/h at the Marina Bay. The Marina Bay Street Circuit was reprofiled ahead of the 2023 race, with the organizers removing the turn 16-19 complex, instead creating a long straight ahead of the final corners of the track. With only 19 turns now, a fourth DRS zone was added in 2024 between turns 14 and 16. This year brings a different pit lane speed limit too, raising it from 60 km/h to 80 km/h with the intention of cutting the time lost and therefore encouraging the idea of a two-stop race strategy there are two. Max assesses his title chances ahead of the Singapore GP. Verstappen fell more than 100 points behind championship leader Piastri, following his home Grand Prix at Zandvoort at the end of August. But back-to-back wins at Monza and Baku have significantly changed that picture. He is now a much-reduced 69 points adrift of Piastri, and 44 down on Norris, with a 199 points still available across the final 7 Grand Prix weekends, 3 of which feature the sprint format.
Of course, I know in the past this has not been particularly our strongest track, plus sometimes a bit unfortunate to not get a better result around here. I'm relaxed, just having fun, here and outside of F1. In that sense, it's been a good season. Pushed on whether he feels winning the title is a possibility, he added. I'm not really thinking about that, to be honest. It's a big gap, but for me, I just see it race by race.
3. Hamilton opens up on overwhelming support since passing of his dog Roscoe. Hamilton took to social media on Monday to share the news that Roscoe had passed away on Sunday evening, having told fans a few days earlier that the bulldog had been admitted to hospital and placed in a coma after being treated for pneumonia.
It's been amazing to see the support from so many people around the world, and overwhelming just to see how much Roscoe touched people and meant to people, said Hamilton. The kind messages that I've received have been really uplifting, so I'm really grateful for that. Anyone out there that knows what it's like to lose a pet, you know how painful it is. I read somewhere that grief is the last act of love, and I'm definitely feeling that.
Number 4. What does the Singapore GP heat hazard declaration mean, and how are drivers affected? Ahead of the 2025 season getting underway, it was confirmed that a heat hazard can be declared if pre-weekend weather forecasts predict temperatures of 31 Celsius or above at some point during a sprint or Grand Prix. Teams are notified of the declaration by the FIA, as they have been in Singapore, and subsequently need to fit a driver cooling system. Several components are involved in the system, including a pump, plumbing and thermal store, with cold fluid generated by the system delivered to the drivers through a special fireproof vest featuring various tubes. All of the core system components must be fitted to cars this weekend, though drivers are currently permitted to choose whether or not they wear the vest itself as work continues on fine-tuning the design. Given this extra mandated equipment, an increase to the standard 800 kilo minimum car weight limit will come into play, with 2 different numbers applied. An additional 2 kilo for practice, qualifying, and sprint qualifying sessions, and plus 5 kilos for a sprint or Grand Prix. The 2 different limit increases essentially mean that teams can fit the system and its core components without needing to fill it with fluid in free practice and qualifying, given the shorter run nature of these sessions. Norris, wary of Verstappen's threat after back-to-back wins for reigning champion.
Genuinely a challenger. I think if you go back to the beginning of the season, they were challenging at the first 6-7 races for race wins, challenging us in the Drivers' Championship. We brought some upgrades and improved a little bit. A couple of weeks ago they brought some upgrades and it seems like that's kind of put them back on the same level as us. I think we're still expecting and we're still coming into every race with the ambition, the goal of winning, wanting to dominate as a team and continue the form that we've had all season.
Yerker 6 trouble brewing at Ferrari?
Charles Leclerc reacted strongly during the press conference on Ferrari's strategy this year. He blasted the management, saying that he is disappointed not targeting to be back to the top as title contenders and left fighting for 2nd, 3rd or 4th place in constructors. He mentioned that McLaren has found something special to improve performances this season. Even Red Bull has improved substantially during the last 3 races in Monza and Baku, then why not Ferrari?
That's a wrap up, F1 fans. Let us know who's going to take the checkered flag. See you next time.